Oh, come on. Silly video. Hello, welcome to more Haskell learning. I'm going to take a look at mega parsec today. So I've been working on a thing to build a system where you can book time on a development environment or a staging environment. And I sort of got the basics of servant working, and you can create environments and create bookings against them, and it now works out whether or not an environment is booked based on whether or not the current time is in between the bookings start and end time. So that's cool, but to create it, you need to specify the start time and the end time as exact date strings. And I thought it might be quite interesting to be able to create a booking against an environment and to give some kind of natural language-ish description of it. So you could say book this environment for 30 minutes or for a day or something like that. I'm not even sure it's a good idea in terms of sort of API design or anything like that, or the functionality of the application. I just think it's quite an interesting problem to look at because it gives me an excuse to go and play with parsec, which I haven't done. I was kind of planning on being prepared for this and spending some time learning some stuff about parsec, but I didn't. So I'm going to be sort of spending a lot of time today, I think, looking at docs and just trying to work out how to do things. But I guess that means we can all learn together. Okay, so where are we? So I'm going to do this separately. I'm going to create a new project for this and just play with parsec on its own, and then we can look at sort of moving some of the working code back into the servant project later on. But for now, I'm going to create a new project. We will not do this. We'll use the LTS resolver, and I'm going to call this time pars with a T. I'm just going to go timey because it's shorter. Okay, and I use a standard stack template. So if we go into timey, I should be able to say stack init. And that should be totally fine. Oh, not stack init, sorry, stack setup. That should be fine because I already have GHC and everything ready to go. And then for fun, I can say stack build. And it can go and fetch any dependencies, which there shouldn't be any, and do the initial compilation. I'm sure there are dependencies, but none of them are new in the system. And then you say stack test. I think it should have a test thing. It should say waiting to be implemented or something like that. Yeah, not yet implemented. And then stack run should just say something like hello or some funk. Okay. Cool, so we got that. Let's try opening VS Code with that, see what happens. That works surprisingly well. So it's popped up in the right place with a reasonable font size, I think. Just go to app main. I'm going to pop that up a bit. Give it a bit of time to download this language server again. Come on, it's nearly there. There we go. Okay. So now I have the language server, I think. Make sure it also a hint. There is no hint. There's a hint there. Okay, cool. So it is running. Good. Okay, so I'm not going to mess around too much with using prelude or relude or Rio or anything like that. We'll just stick with standards, prelude. I will need to include mega parsec at some point. But I should have some tests as well, I think. Yes, I do. Are we using, this is standard thing, so it's hpack, which is YAML. Wrong one, package.yaml is the one I wanted. Are we including any test libraries? We are not. Okay, so we can depend on hspec as well, I think. Let's see if that just works. Stack build. Because I'm going to write quite a few tests for this. I think there's going to be quite a lot of test cases where we will want to give some variation on specifying time and make sure it parses it properly. Stack test, just make sure that still works. This is where it should be installing hspec. Yeah, it's going to take a little while. I just leave it to run the background. We don't actually need it, I don't think. So we go to the spec, and I can't start writing specs yet because I haven't installed HSpec, so the language server will not have caught up. Actually, while that's going, I was thinking a little bit about where we want to, how we want to store this. So a couple of weeks ago, I sketched out this idea of a data type for the duration. Oops. Trying to stick to the right language. Okay. And it'd be a record. Would it be a record? No, it wouldn't be a record. Sorry, it would have a different type constructor. So no, it wouldn't have that different type constructor. It would be a record, I think. So the duration consists of some number of days, which are, I guess, an int, and hours, and minutes, also an int. So I guess I'm thinking that is this still loading? I'm happy. So I guess I'm thinking you give it some kind of like string saying 2.5 days or 2 days or something like that, and it works out it's a number of days in here. We could say book it for 90 minutes and it would work out that's 1 hour and 30 minutes or something like that. I don't even know that's a good idea, but it's at least an interesting thing to do. It wants commas. Very fussy. There we go. Okay. Has it finished that? Yes. Cool. So now HSpec, and in theory, we go back to here. I could start to write some specs. Is it capital S? I can never remember. I'm going to restart the language server as well because it gets upset if you install stuff after it has started. That might be a nice fix actually, or a nice improvement to it, if it could somehow be aware of changes to the cabal file and then restart it itself when it needs to. Can I import that? I can't remember what it's called. It's maybe test. Oops. .hspec. There we go. Got it. Okay. So I might say something like test minutes. This is something quite simple. We're going to go from. We're just going to run this under IO. So test minutes, HSpec $do, I think that's the way it works. And then we could say describe parsing minutes, I guess. And then actually, I'm not sure describe is very useful here. Let's just go. I think we can go straight to an it. So it parses minutes. And then in here we can say, I guess we just call it parse. So we'll give it some string and we'll say something like 10 minutes. As it should be. And then we're going to create a duration where days is 0, hours is 0, and minutes is 10. Days, hours, and minutes. Okay, so we don't have duration yet. Let's go back to our lib and we're going to export. I'll leave that in place, otherwise it will complain. Export duration and everything inside it. Back in the spec. Hopefully now we should offer to import it. There we go. Cool. Okay. And what's it saying here? Not in scope, duration. That's a filthy lie. Here we're exporting duration and everything inside it. We can do that. Does not export duration. Oh yes, of course. It's not a filthy lie, it's correct. No, it's not correct. Because I did it as a record, didn't I? It's a record. It should be able to say duration, days, hours, minutes. I'm a bit confused as to why importing lib is not working properly. Weird. Is that the language server? Is that the code? Just run the test and find out. Okay. I think the language server has gone wrong. Don't know why. Yeah, it should be complaining that this doesn't exist. Yeah. Failed to load packages. Command line cannot satisfy package timey. Stack build. It's still upset. It's annoying. I rely on the language server quite a lot. I don't really want to break at this point. I just keep writing for now until I get really stuck. So to parse something, we're going to go from some text. I guess I'll do this as a string. And we're going to go to a duration. We might need to do this under IO, so this will probably change soon to be some monad stack string to duration. So parse s is duration. I'll just make it empty. So days is 0, hours is 0, and minutes is 0. So I'll effectively set to some empty duration. So something in the package YAML I'm not including the extra modules. I have the other project open somewhere. But have a quick look in the Cabal file here. I've got this other modules block. I wonder if I need something like that in the test as well. Is that even a thing you can put in here? So you can say other dash modules. Don't know. And the other module will be lib in this case. Is that even a thing that we can do? Nope. Can't find source for lib in test. No, you cannot, because you need to find it in source. Can I do this? Yes, I can. Okay, so that's working, kind of. If I just go back to my lib, we can export the parser or the parse function. Run the test again. The language servers are really not happy. Okay, we go back to spec and then importing all of lib. So it should have imported this as well, I think, because I exported it. But the last thing it said was it's not in scope. No. No instance show. Okay, that's cool. That's a much better error. So let me try restarting the language server again, see if it's actually going to be okay this time. While it's doing that, we want to just derive show for now. To show, oops. I think we'll just do show. We could derive equality as well, but actually I think we need to derive equality. Otherwise I won't be able to do the comparison. Language server is still upset. Language server seems to be less upset now. Okay, cool. Run and test. Control-Shift-T. Don't have a test task. Let's build one quickly. So we're going to go, it's test, type shell, we're going to run stack test. Then we're going to put some stuff in here. So we'll say group. And might as well do presentation while we're here. So panel dedicated, so it doesn't share it with other terminals. Clear can be probably true. We don't want to see the output of the previous one. We don't want to see this because we know how to reuse it. Echo, that will do, I guess. And problem matcher. Oh, give an example of that, please. No, it's not going to. Okay. So what can we put in here? We can say pattern. To give an example of a pattern? There we go. Sure, why not? I can't remember what the pattern looks like. Actually, just delete that for a second. That should be enough to get me going. Run a test like that, and hopefully test we implemented. Cool, so it compiles. That, I guess it's important. So what we'll do here, we will do test minutes. And test again. Good, I think. There we go. Okay, so we expected to get 10 minutes and we got 0 minutes. Right. Okay, finally. So we have a working failing test. So I guess we need to implement the parsing stuff. So what I'm thinking we can do is we can break it down into, I guess we could say we'll match numbers, we'll match these strings like minutes and days and hours as particular keywords. So that we can do this simple case. So now we need to work out how to do mega parsec. Okay. I want a quick example. don't really want to read everything, but let's try it. Okay, so I guess we're using strings, not text. It's parsec void. E is the custom component of the error messages. Okay, so we'll leave that as void for now. S is the type of input stream. We can do it with string, that's fine. M is the inner module, which we won't deal with yet. So I think they put it to identity to say, yeah, it's taking the place of, well, it is the inner monad. Identity is a monad, but it doesn't do anything. And A is the result, the result of the parsing. So most of the time M is nothing but identity. So parsec is the type where that's set to identity. We need to provide ES and A. And they then defining it down here as parsec, and then saying E to void, so there's no error handling, and they put to text, but we'll put it to string. Okay, let's jump back to here. Oh, before we do that, actually, let's go to package. We could probably do with using it. Okay, dependencies. Mega parsec. I'm guessing this is going to work. These things always just work when I try them. Go here, and we will go start build, I guess. It's installing something. That's a good sign. Okay, while that's going, we'll go back to lib and we'll fill in some stuff. So we'll create tab for a parser. Oops, parser is parsec. If we'll come from mega parsec. And then void, because we're not going to use any customer handling, and then the type of our parser is string. Okay, let's read a bit more. But very quickly. I don't really care how it works. This one's an example. Show me an example. Token S. This is taking a long time to do anything. Okay, I'm sure I've seen a mega parsec example somewhere. But where? Documentation tutorials, maybe. Didn't jump very well. Oh, I totally missed tutorials. Yes, tutorials here. This is where I was a second ago, wasn't it? Documentation, has that got any quick start guides? It's interesting actually trying to learn stuff as you're live streaming it, because the temptation is just get to an answer as fast as possible without stopping to read stuff, but it may take longer. Yeah, just jump back to the same page. something like a quick start, a simple example of someone using it to parse something. This is probably more what I'm after. Okay. I wonder what the type value is here. What M in this case they've imported, they haven't said. I'm guessing it's make a parsec. Because I presume you just can't type string. I don't know. Wait, let me just grab this. And we will, first of all, see if this is finished, which it has. Then we will restart LSP, because it always gets very upset. Okay, and then now we can say, oh, it's still processing. Import megaparsec. And void, where's that come from? Data.void, good place to come from. Okay, I'm going to rename this parse duration. And then down here, not really what I want to do. Duration. Just quickly before I forget, in the spec, I'll do parse duration. Okay. Don't have a clash anymore, so we have this set up. I think I'm also going to have to import text, import qualified text dot mega parsec as m, mega parsec as m, just because the stuff I'm copying and pasting I think did that. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to take our parser, which takes a string, and we'll get to return, let's say, a Boolean. Okay. So not in scope, m.string does not export string dash, so I don't know where this has come from. So let's see if we can find an example of how you parse a string. No. Can you just do m.string without the quote on the end of it? No, we cannot. Okay, so let's see if we can work out how to parse something. Got an index here, character bind streams, alternatives. I just want an example. This is like the worst tutorial. It's just straight into the details. without giving you some kind of sense of, you know, what it looks like to use, what the interface is. And then this is jumping into part 2 of a series of things. That's not very useful. Maybe you put Haskell at the start, it'll narrow it down a bit. Yes, the tutorial beginner's guide. Okay. So you can say char, which is good. Can we also say string? Text mega parsec string. Okay. Text mega parsec string. Why do that as could not find the module. Okay, that's not great. So do make parsec. When this is written, 2017, so I might have changed since then. Okay. So, in a definition of this parser, can you say that? Apparently it's in byte or character. Let's do a character. Okay, so what I think bool parser will now do is match the string true and return true, string false, return false, and anything else should be an exception, I think, because I'm not giving it any proper error handling. So let me just go back to spec. I'll write a test for that. Can maybe export it from here as well. Parse bool. Parse bool. Okay, so in here we can say test bool, type IO, and then we can say test bool is h spec. It parses true, and then we can say parse bool of true should be true. Not quite. Okay, so type of parse bool. That's quite the type definition. Okay, so parse bool true is not expecting any arguments. And the type of this. Okay. Right, so let me put it back to bool parser, and I need to write something called parse bool, which runs the parser on the input. So we should go string to bool, I guess, in this case. And then let's look up how they run it. So parse test, probably just parse in our case actually. And then we'll pass the input into it, and then this name of the function. So we should say parse bool is parse. I'll do parse test because that's what they had. I don't know why. I need the name of the parser, so this is bool parser. Oops. And the last thing, last argument will be a string. It gets passed into there. Okay, so it needs to be IO bool. So it looks like the parser does need to run under IO. Oh, I can bracket from that. Expected type string to bool. Okay, so parse test is maybe not what I want. What? How do we get the result out of it? This seems to be saying does it parse or not. But here they seem to be saying, I'm confused by this. So I'm just going to look at the type of their parser for a second. They haven't defined this anywhere. Okay. So their parser comes from text megaparsec string. I wonder what the type of it is. Because when they're running it, they're getting that character back, and parse test seems to be printing it out. So what's the type of parse test? Well, EAS. So in this case, EAS is void. Should be string. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, that's not going to help, is it? Oh no, we are going to string. Okay, that's fine. But then it's not going to be IO bool. It's going to just be IO. Okay, and then this is just going to print it out. It's not going to actually. It's not going to return it in any way. Right, okay, so what's the type of parse? Could much type string to either parse error bundle string, void, or bool with IO. So this is expecting string to either that or bool. Which is okay. So can we go sorry, string string. Why was it string to string? That's something I don't understand. So I can understand that you get back another type where you either have the error here or you have it's worked out that the bool parser returns a bool. That's okay. It doesn't. It's an either type, so it's not. It doesn't need to print out, so I need to run this under IO. Okay. So this is either. Then what's the type of this error? It's parse error bundle string void. Nice. Or it's a bool. Okay, now we've got an extra string. Parsers by too few arguments. I think that that's even fewer arguments. String to either that. Okay, so if I go and look up the definition of string, of parse in megaparsec. Looking for the word parse in parser library is interesting. Parse actually is synonym for run parser. Name the source file. Okay, cool. And then the input. Right, so that's what that other string argument is about. Okay, so we're exporting parse bool. So in here, you can say parse bool true should be right true, I think. And then it's parses false. So parse false. That's right, parse bool of false should be right false. And just to find out what it gives me back, I can say it parse. It does not parse. Nonsense. And then parse bool of nonsense, literally. Nonsense should be, I'm going to say right true because I want to see what's in the left. So I expect this to fail, but I want to see what the correct answer is by running the test. Okay, after running that. Uncool. Okay, what's its problem here? Cannot load module that. It's, remember, the hidden package that. So build depends for the library. The library does have megaparsec. Maybe I need to put it for everything. I do that instead. Megaparsec needed has no specified version. Megi parsec, one of the best parsecs. Try it again. Okay. So it can build now, but can it run? Or can it test? Okay, so it parses true, works, false. It doesn't parse nonsense, so this is a bit long. Okay, it's a lot of information. Can we, how much can we pattern match on this? Oh, I need to restart that speed again. I just wonder if we can just sort of say left something. Oops. You cannot say that. Find a hole. Yeah. Like intentionally a hole, but okay, so let's get rid of that. It's hard to match. It's not what I'm interested in. What I really go back to doing is test minutes. Okay, and then this doesn't work. So so I'm just going to get rid of the bool stuff from here. And then get rid from lib as well. Okay, so we can say like a minute parser. Oh, we can say time parser. Is parser, and then gives you back a duration. Maybe it should be a duration parser then. Not a time parser. Okay, so duration parser equal to, I think we want to say something like a int parser followed by, how do you do like a chain of stuff? I don't need this or that, I want to do and. Oh, I can just do that. Int parser followed by string minutes. So int parser actually, I might just, it might be easier to do if I say something like count value or x comes from int parser. Just thinking like I want to capture this so I can create a duration at the end, so we could do something like return your duration, and then we can say days equals 0, hours equals 0, minutes equals x. So this is a type parser int int parser second. To match a word. That's some. So can we do some numchar or something? Numberchar. And then can you say read that? And then return that? Not going very well. So expected type string, actual type. Blah, okay. So what's the type of numberchar? What is numberchar? Numberchar is probably not what I want. So they had something alpha num char. So I wonder if they also have numchar. No. I don't believe I wanted to import it from here. Okay, one of the examples I was looking at had something about parsing numbers. But I don't think it was this one. I don't think it was this one. Oh, that's tutorial. Decimal parser is digit char. Some digit char. Okay. Is that a thing? Okay, so now we should get a list of characters. And I couldn't match it with int. Makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to turn these back into an integer. But I can't do that. Cannot call read. Do that. I thought I could. stack REPL. So if I say something like reads 1, 2, 3 as an int, yeah, that does work. So that's not what's going on. So what's the type of sum? Oops, it's text dot mega parsec dot sum. The MA to M of list of A, I think our M is just identity in this case. List of character. But if I say is a list of like 1, 2, and I call read A as an int, it works. Okay, the list of characters should be totally fine. So I don't think it's to do with the read. But this is saying couldn't match type list of character with int. Expected type is parser int. Actual type is parser t void string. Identity. List of characters. So it looks to me like I think parser is parsec t void string data functor identity. I think the first 2 bits is identical, and we're returning a list of characters rather than int. So I would have thought that if you said read that, like so, that would work, but that doesn't seem to. So can't match type character with list of character, expect type string, actual type list of characters in the first argument to name. That's right, of read. Oh, because it's returning MA, where M is, in this case, it's just a list, I think. So, I mean, I want to apply read to the thing inside the list, I think. Seems unlikely. Okay, so we read this. We need to, can you just give it that? Some character, which is space. Add it so there. So what I think this should do is read some digits. No, yes, read some digits and convert them back into a number. Read some space and then read the string minutes. And then it will give you back the duration with the minutes set. Okay, so where's my parse duration? Okay, so give me back that at the moment. But okay, so it's going to give you back either parse error bundle string void or duration. And we should be able to say parse duration parser, I think. parse error bundle string void. Huh. Oh, because I've got S listed there. Okay. So will that work? It should be left duration. Couldn't match type duration. What? I think that's the language server going wrong again. I could be mistaken. Oh no, it's not. Couldn't match type duration with this because I said left, not right. Okay, try it again. The language server was correct. There was another error in there somewhere. Let's see where it stops. Oh my goodness, it parses minutes. That's ridiculous. So it parses more minutes. So parse duration of, let's say 254 with some spaces. Minutes should be right. Duration days is 0, hours is 0, minutes is 254. Okay, and then we want to run that. Nice. Okay, and then it does not parse nonsense. So parse duration. Let's do forever, and that should be left something. So that and then void. String void. Okay, but the string is going to be that. Couldn't match type. A0 list of characters C0 with the parser bundle, the string, and void. Okay, so I just import void for a second. Import data.void. Do we have fewer errors? Data construction in scope void. We do not have fewer errors. I don't know how you match parser failures. So we can just whirl it out. So debugging parser 11, I think running a parser. Okay. I just want to match against it. It's quite complicated. Displaying parse error messages. I don't really want to do that. Yeah, okay, I think it's going to be a bit difficult. Testing them. Ooh. Doesn't expect megaparse. Should parse. Okay, that might be a good thing to read at the beginning. So parse, blah, blah, blah. Should parse, blah. Okay, so package.yaml. Down here, we're going to pull in h spec megaparsec. Stack build. It won't build, but hopefully install the dependency. It won't do because I run build, not test. Just want to get these tests working, and then I can stop. So, do we now have expect megaparsec? So we can say parse duration, blah. And say should parse. And I can do that. And then down here, there should be a, can I say should fail on it should fill with the offset unexpected token because it just check fails leaving. Which one? Can you just write should fail on? And then just give it an empty string to see what happens. And I'm using that. And I should be able to import test.h spec.megaparsec, I think. Let's check that. Test.h spec.megaparsec. Cool. Okay, if I run the test again, don't even know it's going to compile. Parse duration is applied to too many arguments. What? Oh. So there's not parse nonsense. I just changed the should parse. It's got to be duration. So, oops. Does that compile but not work? So it should fail the last test because it shouldn't have parsed it. Yep, okay, so expect duration but failed with error, nonsense, unexpected n, expecting digit. Okay, so then can I say should fail on? What are my options here? Should not satisfy. Should. Oh, it's not completing for me because I need to restart it. Just want the language server to show me what options I have for the should predicates. So look, should parse, yes, okay. So we should not page not contention not return, not what I want. Should fail on cannot match. Parsers is applied to too many arguments. It's weird though because they've got parse something in the string, so the parser is being called by my parse duration. Also the parser is being called, and then it takes a string and it should fail on and then another string. I'm a bit confused by that. I guess I should fill with to see if I can get that working. So I should fill with error, and then it's the offset. The offset should be 0 in this case, and then what does it take? Error offset, an unexpected token. In this case, it'll be n. I mean, it seemed to compile. I guess that's a good start. Okay. Parse expects to fill with unexpected n, but it filled with unexpected n expecting digit. Okay, that's what the second argument was. So etalk and then digit. So how do you specify digit? What was the combinator used? It was that etalk digit, and then can it find digit in anywhere? Nope, don't define it. Oh, what's a character? There's like... Couldn't match S0 with blah. No. I don't think that's going to work. No, I don't know how to tell it to say expecting digit. Okay, I'm going to stop there anyway because it's running on a bit. Okay, so what have we done? Started to write a very simple parser which takes, which can match some digits and then the word minutes, literally the word minutes. It doesn't care about spaces in here, but it doesn't match, well, it correctly doesn't match nonsense, but I don't know how to write the test properly, the condition for the test to match the thing it's failing with, because I can't place it with digits. Maybe next week I can look at adding hours and days so we can sort of give alternatives, so we can either parse digit, like some number followed by minutes or some number followed by days and so on, so we can get that working. And then we can start to look at some other cases like half an hour or an hour or a day and stuff like that. 2 days. Cool. Okay, so a bit tricky, a lot to learn in megaparsec, but we got something basic working, which I guess is okay for like an hour or so. Cool. So thank you very much for watching. Yeah, hopefully see you next week when we'll do even more megaparsec. Goodbye.